And recording.
Yeah, me too.
I have a sound wave. Good.
What?
I have a sound wave.
Oh.
It is good.
That's good.
I have sound wave from the Transformers.
I have a sound wave, and he smokes.
And he's bad.
To the bone.
All
right, whenever you're ready.
Oh, hey, it's Gamera. How you doing, Gamera? Long time no see.
Oh, is Gamera here? I don't see him anywhere.
You're Gamera. Come on, quit clowning around, Gamera.
Oh, no. I'm not Gamera. No. I'm not Gamera. I'm nothing like Gamera.
Oh, please. You look just like Gamera. You are. I mean, you old kid, are you? Knock it off, Gamera.
Okay, well, okay, to be fair, I am a turtle.
Like Gamera.
Okay, well, I mean, I also, I can fly.
Just like Gamera.
I can breathe fire.
Right, Gamera.
I spin in the air when I fly.
Just like Air Gamera.
Okay, I got it. Children, great friends.
Yep, just like Gamera.
I don't know how I gotta convince you. I mean, I look like a huge dork.
Oh, hey, Toto.
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Oh, welcome back. Happy Turtleversary, everybody. This is What Were They Thinking, a podcast that's usually about bad to questionable movies. But this week, it's about an awesome Gamera movie called Gamera the Brave. I, of course, am your turtle-loving host, Nathan. And with me, as always, is the, Totoro to my Toto, Brendan. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm glad I've raised you to be a gentleman, because me being the Toru to your Toto. I found you in the streets, and I've raised you up to be a demon between the sheets. You found me on an
island in an egg. Thank you very much.
Well, everything's the streets to me. That's why I say I'm from the streets, and people are like, "No, you're not. You were born in Montreal in a hospital." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm from the streets. That's all the streets to me."
From the mean streets of NDG.
Yeah. And grew up on the mean streets of Halifax. Well, I mean, some of that kind of works. Yes, I'm here to talk about our 7th Gamera movie.
Yeah, we're really getting down there.
Getting close to that super monster one that you love so much.
Staring me right in the face in a couple of years. But not today. No, not today. We are talking about Gamera the Brave, also known as Son of Gamera. Just to give you guys the quick rundown on this plot. We open up with a Gamera fighting some Gauss, sacrifices himself to destroy the Gauss and save an island. Flash forward, I think, 23...
That's like 30... That's
30
like
years later. It was like
years.
72, and then it's in the 2000s.
Yeah.
A young lad finds one of the turtle eggs left over from the previous Gamera, takes it in as his own. It hatches, grows exponentially, fights a giant murder lizard with a terrible CG tongue. Hilarity ensues.
Yes, and you really a very important detail that kind of took me for a loop when I first watched this. Gamera dies in the cold open of this movie.
Yes, because this one actually kind of furthers the idea that Gamera is, while they call the giant turtle in the movie, whatever movie it happens to be, Gamera, The idea being that Gamera is more of like a name for the species as opposed to the actual name proper for the turtle. I think that wasn't there like it wasn't Guardian of the Universe, I think, or maybe it was Guardian of the Universe, where there's like a Gamera graveyard at the bottom of the ocean. So all these other giant turtle, creatures that the people of the Mu continent created to help protect them. So yeah, this Gamera is more of like it's they name it Toto, but it's a Gamera, if that makes any sense at all.
I mean, every other movie, it sounds like his name is Gamera. It doesn't sound like a species. Like if that feels like oh shit, let's put a new twist on this.
Well, even in this one, they do it. I mean, the dad several times saying he's Gamera.
Yeah.
So either the kid was really leaning into the idea that he deserves the turtle deserves his own name, or the dad's like, no, you idiot, you named him wrong.
And a little bit just quickly behind the scenes, this movie bombed really hard apparently in Japan, and this is the last of the Gamera movies up to this date.
It is. Yeah, there was a like a proof of concept trailer a few years ago. Was released right around the time of the 50th anniversary of Gamera, where they were actually going to do like a whole new movie. They had a new monster. They had bits of like an actual fight between Gamera and the monster, and it was showed at like a Comic-Con in Tokyo, but nothing ever came of it, unfortunately. So we had 2 Gamera movies that have never been made, and it might come to the point in a couple of years where we're just shooting the shit about those, because I don't want to talk about Gamera Super Monster.
It's coming.
God damn that fucking movie. See.
Well,
it's the only Gamera movie where I think the dialogue is like the most unnatural in any of them. But
all we need to do for most of that movie, from what I understand, is just put clips from our other podcast episodes where we talked about those movies. And then just Frankenstein them into our episode.
But we have to insert fresh portions where we talk about the the segments that are new.
And then they walked around. Now for the other movie.
Somebody was going to buy a kid a hamburger lunch. Which is a line that is actually said in that movie. But
good writing.
Thankfully, we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about Gamera the Brave. And as Brendan said, we open in 1973 in Japan in the midst of a Gauss attack. And Gamera is there, or a Gamera, depending on how you're looking at this, is there trying to fend off the Gauss, doing his absolute darndest, and unfortunately overcome by the amount of Gauss that are attacking him, and has to initiate self-destruct protocol, and it blows himself up along with all the Gauss that are there, and they say, yay, Gamera sacrificed himself for us. And
they're very happy about his sacrifice, which I get it. I get it. They're saved. But the tone, it sounds like, yay, he died for us. I mean, for us. Totally, that's why we're happy.
So what I'm probably getting at here is this should be, Gamera the Messiah should be the name of this movie. So he died for you, Tokyo. Or Japan.
I also noted, is this directed by Zack Snyder? Because this seems like the gritty reboot of Gamera.
Yeah, you don't expect the hero to die in the cold open, that's for sure.
I also have to note, I loved the wonderful bagpipe music at the beginning. And
the Irish Gamera music in this movie.
My favorite credit in the whole opening credits, music by Yoko Uno. Almost. Almost.
Uno.
It was like UENO, and I was like, oh, that's real close. Do you think that's a pseudonym? She's just a big Gamera fan.
I don't know.
It would make sense because she's like, yeah, I don't know, Irish music at the beginning.
But it wasn't an absolute assault on the eardrum, so, I mean, that points against your theory.
Yeah, a well-intentioned assault on the eardrums.
Okay. So we flash forward to 2006.
Yeah.
And, more to your Zack Snyder theory. We open on a dad and his son putting flowers on the grave of the mother who has passed away in a car accident.
It's all been very dark so far.
We're at like super duper sad.
Yeah, we're at like minute 7,
and the kid actually professes to be an atheist because his mom died.
He literally says she's not up in heaven. She's a pile of bones in this tomb. And I said, dark kid.
Man, this kid, he's gonna get super into My Chemical Romance.
And they're still just as relevant to this day.
Right. So it was at this point, because I'd seen this movie before, but I had like a lower quality copy of it. Mm-hmm. This time I watched it on my Blu-ray collection that I got a couple of years back, and man, it gave the whole thing a real Christian video, direct-to-video feel, like the quality of the filming for a lot of the shots. Like it was almost like it was set too bright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
doesn't
didn't
even
feel
have
like a film. It felt like a digital, like someone was recording on like a digital handycam or something.
Yeah, it doesn't even have really the budget that the other two newer ones had.
It's unfortunate. Like I found this was because it shows in a lot of spaces.
Yeah, like I noticed, that's one of the things I noticed, the look, especially when we get to the special effects. I was like, oh, this is a bit of a step down. Okay.
But they did I feel like they did a competent enough job with the rubber suits, but every time they start, like, Z just, we'll get to it when we get to it. Let's just plow on through this. So mom has passed away. Dad runs a he runs like a noodle shop. We cut away from that real quick to see that the self-defense force, which was mentioned in the previous Gamera movies, which was built so they could fight Gauss and Legion and ISIS, I think was the last one, that was the monster's name. So
yeah,
and to combat any other kaiju that might attack Japan. Apparently it's being disbanded because of it not needed. There hasn't been an attack since 73, which means the movies that happened in the 90s happened in the 70s, but there's all those like flat screens and Game Boys and Walkman.
Well, as far as I know, this is a second attempt at a reboot, though. Like, I don't think they're counting those last two, from what I've read anyway.
Okay.
So I think this is like, if Guardian of the Universe and Attack of Legion wasn't a thing, and this was like the one after all the old ones instead of the last two. Like, I think that's what they were going for.
If they were doing that, I wish they had just done the Gara Sharp movie. It's the giant snake one that never got produced.
Oh.
Yeah. But they didn't, so.
No.
Yeah.
But they are craving his fried rice.
Right. They're glad he's back because he had taken so much time off to mourn his wife. And he's like, okay, well, I'll give you an extra large helping because of that. And all of his, regulars and stuff are happy to see him back at the slinging hash, as they say. Mm-hmm. They're watching. There's some stuff that's happening on the TV because they're watching the news, and we find that there's been like a shipwreck at sea, and there are sailors that are gone missing. I'm sure that won't come into play at all.
No, it's just a weird one-off scene that just is there for funsies.
I'm used to movies introducing things and having them not pay off, so I figured that was going to be the situation here too.
See, I feel like the movies we do, it's either they introduce things that are just cut off and we never hear about them again, they don't matter, or everything matters.
It's all foreshadowing.
Or it's like Unhinged, where everything is fucking Pavlov. Like, yeah.
Chekhov.
Yeah. No, Pavlov, I was drooling the whole time.
You're drooling the whole time.
Yeah.
Pudgy, rage-filled Russell Crowe.
Yeah, just oozing with sexuality.
I heard you were calling him Muscle Crow.
Oh, yes. Several times. Gladiator who?
And okay, so we cut away from this because I mean we just get a scene to get an idea of what Toru and his dad's relationship is like. They're missing mom. We know that the self-defense force is being dismantled. There are sailors missing. Let's cut to a beach scene where boys try to take each other's pants off.
That was a scene I didn't need.
I was like, the scene brought to you by the Catholic Church.
Oh my god. It was like, yeah, and this combined with the dubbing that made it already like kind of weird. I was just like, this is making me very uncomfortable.
I heard the guy who directed Jeepers Creepers guest directed that shot.
Oh, God. You need me to do this scene? I can do it real well. No,
I'll do it for scale. Scale -5.
Mr. Salva, we're good. We don't need the help.
I got my own camera and everything.
You know what? We received your DVD copy of Powder. We know about the movie. You don't have to. It's on Disney Plus, Mr. Salvo. We don't need a physical copy. But if you could just get off our set, I think you're within 150 feet of those kids. Yeah, it was weird to say the least. It was a strange scene to just put in the middle of the movie.
Well, just okay. So to set it up. Toru is there at the beach, and his friends are there. They're swimming and cavorting in the ocean. Toru came, but he didn't bring his swim trunks or anything like that. And his friends wanted to get in and go swimming so they could splash around and have a water fight. And he's like, no, I don't have my shorts and stuff. And rather than be like, okay, that's kind of fine. Sorry, I didn't bring your shorts. They immediately kind of like started attacking him and trying to rip his pants off. And then they start trying to rip the other kid's pants off. And I was like, this scene is making me quite uncomfortable.
It didn't need to be what felt like a 20-minute scene.
Right?
It went on for such a long time.
And the only thing that, other than that happens in the scene is where one of the kids says that, you could get your mom to take them off for you. And his mom's dead. And he gets upset. And they think he's really upset. And he's like, did I fool you? And then they proceed to try to rip each other's clothes off again. And I was like, okay, are we done with this? Good, we're done with this. Okay, let's go back to the restaurant.
This movie has a giant space turtle, right? I'm
yeah.
waiting for that.
We go back to the restaurant where Toru is there, and he's a little upset. He's missing his mom. I think his mom drew like the today's special menu thing that goes on the on the tables at a restaurant or something like that, because he starts kind of having flashbacks to when she was around the restaurant and, serving people and serving him and stuff like that. But, he's shaken by this revelry because somebody spills a beer and nearly wrecks his mom's little sign that she drew. So I think we've set up all of that we need to do about as far as mood goes, because Toru's depressed and also possibly into one of his friends. I don't know. But he goes upstairs, and the girl who lives across the way from him, and she has a new manga that he wants to read. Volume 13, it came out today, and this is Mai, M-A-I, and she is unfortunately quite sick, I guess. She's going to have open heart surgery.
Yeah, they allude that she's getting a procedure done, but then we eventually, throughout the course of the movie, find out it's a pretty serious surgery. Again, there is so much like dour stuff here in the opening minutes of this movie. I just like I'm thinking about like Gamera versus Gauss and how ridiculous that was, and this one starts off with like death and like, sickness and parents being dead, and it's just like goddamn movie.
Yeah, he wants to borrow the book from Mai, and she's going to, but then he's like, yeah, come on, give it to me, and so she won't let him, and he has to like say he's sorry and call her your royal majesty and stuff like that. I felt after he got the book, they should have, even if it wasn't in the original Japanese script, they should have dubbed in a line to call her a royal pain in the butt. Because that's a very little kid thing to do, which would have fit perfectly with this moment and brightened it up a bit and made us stop thinking about how Toru's mom is dead and this little girl is going to get open heart surgery.
Right. But he does act like a little shit kid in this scene too, I gotta say.
Yes. Yeah. So My Eyes Operation is next week. we wake up the next morning, and all the boys are heading off to the beach for swimming lessons, and Toro didn't remember his membership card, to which I wrote down, membership card to the beach?
I was not aware this was a thing. It's outdoors.
I can only assume that he needs the membership card to be in the swim class.
I guess so.
I mean, if he's in the swim class, wouldn't the teacher who's been teaching him swimming lessons for however long know that, oh, that's Toro, he's in the swim class, he forgot his membership. Hey, Toro, remember that next time, buddy. We need you to have that with you, okay? All right, hop in the water. You got your pants, your shorts? Good, because I'd hate to have your friends attack you and try to tear your pants off before you go for swimming lessons.
Oh, horrifying. Also, I think, Nathan, this is just a really strong indictment of Japanese bureaucracy, is what this is.
You need a membership card to go to this particular beach, because Toro doesn't go home to get his membership card. He just goes to another beach and goes swimming out to like some, island.
When they were running to the beach, by the way, when they were running between those two caves, I thought, oh no, this looks like the beach from Old.
Thankfully, that was not the case.
Oh.
Although it kind of was for Gamera.
An added threat. Oh, shit! Oh my god. Nathan, Gamera is from the beach in Old.
And he must have like sand and crust on him because it stayed with him.
Yeah. He caught the old beach disease. And it just stayed on him. We don't actually see this, but 10 minutes after the movie ended, he actually just got he turned into an old man and died.
Okay, so this is, as I said, Toro goes out to this, the beach from Old, and finds a Gamera egg, or an egg. He doesn't know it's a Gamera egg. It's an egg on what looks to be like a very ornately carved little pedestal. And he picks it up, which is a big no-no in general when it comes to wild animal eggs, but he does it anyways. And then it hatches in his hand, and it's a little turtle. Cutest little turtle you've ever seen. Hold on to that image because it's not going to last.
And also, shouldn't have picked up the egg. And then one of the first things he does is he just puts the fucking turtle on his back.
Yes, which I think, and I obviously I can't say for sure, but I think that was more of a nod to the original Gamera and Gamera versus Gauss, where Timmy and Ichi rode on Gamera's back.
Oh, okay.
So, and then in this case, instead of a kid riding on Gamera's back, Gamera's riding on a kid's back.
Oh, no. I mean, like, he turns the turtle upside down.
On
the sand. Like, that was that part I was like, oh, don't do that to that baby turtle. Jesus.
Well, you have to do that so he can go, oh, you have, the strange markings. That's interesting.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have been able to tell just by picking it up and looking.
Right. So anyways, Toto, we cut away from this and we see a jewelry shop called the Scarlet Pearl, run by Mai's parents. Now, we've come to find out that these Scarlet Pearls that the shop is named after only showed up after the last Gamera attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if you think back to just a second ago, we saw Gamera on an ornately carved red pedestal, which tells me that those pearls that they snatched up out of the ocean and turned into jewelry are probably Gamera eggs. And if they hadn't have done that, they would have had a whole bay full of Gameras to protect them from what is about to happen.
Now, are they Gamera eggs or are they Gamera nests?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if it's a situation where the egg grows within the pearl becomes the nest, and the egg sits in it. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Well, it's that age-old question, Nathan. What came first, the Scarlet Pearl or the egg?
Right.
We'll never know.
Nope, because they snatched them all up and made jewelry out of them. Thankfully, it apparently saved the local economy, but nearly doomed the entire town.
Well, yeah, and it's essentially like the blood diamonds of Japan.
Well, they weren't, slave farming them.
As far as we know, they got to come from somewhere.
Well, Yeah, from the bay that
Who's getting them? Who's cultivating them?
All right, fine.
I'm
not diving down your Q conspiracy rabbit hole, okay?
Listen, Alex told me to get information. I'm just on a fact-finding mission.
They're
That's
making
all
the
it is.
frogs gay and the turtles lay eggs. So, okay, my dad, as I said, runs this shop, and he has one last Scarlet Pearl, and he's not selling it. He's turning it into a bracelet to give to Mai as a good luck charm for her going in for her operation again. We need to be reminded, a child may die through surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go too long in this movie with having happy thoughts of cute turtles.
Nope. Bringing you back down to earth every 5 minutes.
Yes. So now that we've got all that covered, we get to cut back to Toru trying to, I don't know, he's having fun with Gamera. He's playing with baby Gamera. And he's small, and he's the little baby turtle, and it's cute and everything. And Toru goes to sleep, and then he wakes up, and he's doubled in size.
Uh-oh.
So something's up. But
I
think Toru has a problem with accepting what's right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks the election was stolen as well.
Oh no, Toru. He's like, Toto, hurry up! I've got somewhere to be. You look at the calendar. January, the first 5 days are crossed out.
He's kind of worried now because the turtle's bigger, and his dad is apparently coming up to clean his room. I don't know how this kid is getting such royal treatment.
Yeah, he has to say, like, and he's worried that he's going to find Toto, so he eventually names him Toto, spoiler alert, but he has to tell his dad, like, well, I need to do my own chores for homework, and I too was like, wait, you don't already?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
At least some of them?
At that age, I was responsible for, making sure my room was kept.
Yeah, at the very least.
I didn't do that, but I was responsible for it.
At the very least, like, his own area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say it like that with that beach scene in this movie.
I didn't make the beach scene, Nathan. This is the third time I've told you. The other 2 times were off air. I didn't guest direct that beach scene. We've figured out that it was Victor Self.
And of course, like as you said, he thinks that Dad's gonna find Toto, and so he's looking around, and then he sees behind his dad, old baby Gamera. Toto is floating up like a little hovercraft, and Mai sees this too, and she almost queers the deal because she screams, which makes Dad turn around. But luckily, for some reason, Gamera just flings himself into the room.
Yeah, right into like Toru's hands, and then he holds him behind his back. That was an odd bit of coincidence, I guess.
You also want to know what it was an odd bit of something. Toru's shirt. He had a shirt on, and it looked like it was supposed to be like a baseball t-shirt, like at the long, and it had a number 62 on it, but instead of having a team name on it, it said a bang up work.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. I didn't know what that meant.
All the other kids had like, I think there was a kid who had like I think he had like a Quicksilver shirt, and there was another kid that had like just a Hurley shirt or like a skateboard shirt, but that's a bang up job number 62.
And not even a bang up job, a bang up work.
Oh, a bang up work, yeah, a bang up work number 62.
Which makes less sense. Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, is that like when someone does like a really convincing promo and you're like, man, that was a bang up work.
Bang up, there you go. Wrestling reference, got it in.
Secured. Surely it will never come up again when we talk about the fights in this movie.
Right. Toru was like, I gotta get rid of this. I can't keep this turtle. He keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so he takes the turtle someplace, and is essentially, go on, get. I don't love you anymore. Go on, get.
Slaps him in the face, yeah. Which I was like, man, I felt so bad for that little turtle. And then he like hides around a corner, And the fucking turtle almost gets run over by a car.
But before that, the turtle is actually following him like step for step as he's walking away from where the turtle was. And I was watching this with Cheyenne, and she actually said, unintentionally, one of the most unnerving lines about Gamera. She said, Gamera knows where you live.
Oh, Christ. No, thank you.
I was like, he sure does, sweetheart.
Listen, we could be friends, Gamera, but there's some things we got to keep private, I think.
I saw you on the beach.
It's like Gamera just like banging, like throwing rocks up at your window. Hey, you want to play video games? You can't fit in my house, Gamera. Come on.
I can hold the Wiimote.
I'll play from out here. The cord doesn't stretch that long, and no, I don't have wireless controllers yet.
So, okay, you're right. Gamera, Toto almost gets hit, but Toru saves him, and he says, I guess I have to keep this turtle now. He's like my soul pet, I guess.
Yep.
But I got to keep it super secret. So super secret that he tells everybody but his dad.
Every other single person.
And they're not quiet about it either, too, because when they, oh wow, a turtle! Look at that, a turtle!
And
which is probably one of the truest things about kids in this entire movie.
I also got to mention the person that almost ran over the turtle. You didn't see him, but he sounded like a Southern stereotype. Like, oh, get your turtle out the road. Also, this line made me laugh so hard because it reminds me of that video that went viral where they're interviewing that little kid, because he goes around, Toru's like, hey, do you like turtles? It just reminded me of that kid that was like, I like turtles. And of course the response is like, yeah, I like turtles. Oh, I like turtles. Yeah, turtles. Yeah.
They did a fair amount of cube gleaming. And while he's going out kind of figuring out who all loves turtles, Toto was back at the restaurant doing some more. He's doing some of his own half piping in Dad's walk at the restaurant, and he even sort of fights Guiron. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah,
because Dad drops a knife, and the knife has got it looks like a knife nose like Guiron, and he actually shoots it with a fireball, which
referencing my favorite Gamera villain.
That was kind of fun.
But yeah, he singes part of that knife, and then the dad picks it up, and he's like, "Good,
Steal what?"
This wasn't burnt when I put it on the ground.
Again, he figures out who all loves turtles and inducts them into this super duper secret club that everybody knows about Gamera, including Mai, because she finds out too. And it's like, man, what are we gonna? And he goes to bed. He wakes up. The thing is bigger again.
Yeah, and also, Nathan, did you say that he inducts him into the Turtle Club? Does that mean that Dana Carvey's going to pop up in this movie? Because I can't deal with Masters guys coming into this. I can't deal with it.
Turtle.
No, don't make it go away.
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Did you know that they filmed that scene on 9/11?
What? Did they? Seriously?
This is nothing to do with Gamera, but I'm going to mention it. That scene in Master of Disguise, apparently halfway through filming it, someone was reading the news or caught a glimpse and said 9/11, was talking about this just happened, towers crash, plane crashed into the towers, and everyone in full costume makeup, like Dana Carvey is like in his full turtley whatever, they bowed their heads and had a moment of silence, and then went right back to filming.
Time is money, folks.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
That is like the darkest timeline. Anyway, Gamera.
That's yes. Okay. Okay. So, she knows all about the other Gamera too. Like she's done some research because this turtle's getting bigger, and he's getting. They're like, he's as big as a football now. And Mai even tells him like it's a Gamera or it's Gamera.
Mm-hmm.
And Toro is not having any of it. He's like, he's
just a
not
normal turtle.
He's not the Gamera. Not the Gamera at all.
He's not it. He's just a normal turtle that flies around.
And he has this line. Gamera, he said, monsters, they fight to the death, don't they? Which is the awful sequel to They Shoot Horses, don't they?
But a much more literal interpretation of the title.
Right. So, the kids, they gotta hide, Gamera. So, they're going out. Parents, of course, where are you going? And again, more true to, the way kids behave portion here, where they're like, "Guy, I'm just going out, all right?
Right.
Going out with my friends, okay?" And they pop Gamera on a couple of skateboards and take him to hide him because he can't stay at the apartment anymore. He's too big.
And if only Gamera had gone full cube gleaming and actually solved a mystery, solved a murder. Christian Slater shows up. Wow, Gamera, looks like you did it.
Way to go, Gamera.
Way to go. You solved it again. You truly are a friend to all children. Gamera the Cube. Okay.
Yes, okay. What do we got here? Oh, so this is when the kids start kind of piecing stuff together about the red stone and the scarlet pearls. And just in case you couldn't figure out that they were putting this stuff together, there's actually a line, "Remember the red stone?" And then they just cut to a one shot of the red stone.
Yeah.
I was like, thankfully they didn't just cut back away from it, because I was like, that would have been some Family Guy shit. But no, they actually do. He goes grab it, and Toro has another great line where he's trying to reassure Mai that she's gonna be okay, that they're all right, and she I think she says something like them to be safe or be good or something like that, and he says, we'll be the meanest Toto duo. Who talks like that?
Yeah, well, right before that, she says, "I'm worried about huge Toto and this little Toto."
And we'll be the meanest Toto duo.
That was bizarre. I wonder if that's actually what the line was.
That's fair, because we watched the dubbed.
Yeah, there's a possibility that he didn't say that at all.
We did fail to mention that Toto was actually Toro's nickname that his mom gave him.
Right, and that's what he names his Gamera.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't rain. Then it starts raining, so I'm guessing appropriate naming, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not in Africa, but
Toro is kind of starting to come around to the idea that Toto might be a Gamera, because he even asks him outright, like the turtle's gonna talk back to him, "Are you really a Gamera?"
Yeah. Also, what does he if he doesn't think it's a Gamera, what does he think it is? This turtle flies, breathes fire.
He hasn't seen the breathing fire yet, but he has seen it fly, and it's growing, it's doubling in size on a daily basis.
Does he think it's just a really cool turtle? I don't know. Oh, what? A Gamera? That's stupid. It's just a turtle that flies and grows really fast. Okay, duh, like turtles do.
Gamera actually goes missing in the rain. He takes off, and the kids have to go to search for him in the rain. And I actually note here, it was really nice of Georgie to help. Just one kid in a yellow rain slicker and red boots. I was like, if he reaches into a sewer and loses an arm, this is the greatest movie ever made.
Man, imagine if it did that and then it just ended, and then it's like you have to continue by waiting for the new It movie to come out. in 13 years. That's the continuation of this movie.
We get a really kind of weird, I don't know, stilted sequence. I know, shocking in this movie.
What?
But there was a portion here where the kids are looking and Toto, they're trying to find him, and but it had a real Neil Breen quality to it. Like the filming, or it looked even cheaper than before, and there was just more kind of weird dialogue. But we don't get too much time to think about that because the air raid siren go off. Remember, this is a monster movie, there are sailors missing. Now we get to meet the big bad of the movie. Finally, a giant fringed lizard named Zetus.
Yeah, it's like a dragon kind of.
Yeah, I think like that the dinosaur that killed Wayne Knight in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, like a giant version of that. Yeah, I can see that without the poison, kind of.
He's got a poorly rendered CG purple tongue.
Yes, which at first I didn't see the shot where it came out of, and I thought that was supposed to be his dick.
Wow, this kid-friendly Gamera movie took a hard turn.
I was like, oh, he's gonna humble Gamera in front of everyone,
break his back and everything. No, but he
fucking Gamera.
Fuck, shut up, Shiki. Zetus does proceed to trap a bunch of people and eat them right in front of Toru and his friend, and they think one of the people that gets eaten is the little guy who was like the one dressed as Georgie earlier.
Yeah.
Mai and Toro are the only names I wrote down in this movie. I'm terribly sorry to those actors. I'm sure they're listening.
They are, and they're very upset.
And I was like, it's like Zetus ate those people in front of those kids. Like, this is supposed to be, again, a kid-friendly, friend of all children, a return to kind of form for where the Gamera series took off in the 60s, save for Gamera versus Baragon. All the other movies were like, he's helping kids and he's protecting kids. And he's doing the same thing. But hey, you know what? We're going to kill one right in the very first. And somebody's mom is dead. And there's open heart surgery. Oh, yeah, and he's going to eat a bunch of people in front of two kids. And they think one of those people is their friends.
It's the real world, Nathan. Like I said, it's basically Zack Snyder's Gamera.
Well, luckily,
I'm waiting for the 4-hour cut.
Before Zetus can turn his attention on Toro, his dad, and the other friend, Gamera shows up on the scene and stumbles Zetus. He doesn't really do a whole lot of winning, but
No.
that's actually on brand for Gamera movies.
Well, it feels like like he starts biting his ankles, and all I could think of was like that Monty Python line, of course. Come back, I'll bite your ankles.
And this first fight scene between Gamera and Zetus, when I first saw Zetus and at first and that, I was like, okay, this is a cool, they did a rubber suit, and that tongue that they did, that effect isn't very good.
Yeah.
But the Gamera suit is pretty good. But then they have to make it look to scale that these monsters are fighting on a bridge, and you can just tell that they green screened it and stuck them on a bridge that they shot as an establishing shot, and it's like, it looks so poorly done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, and I've seen like the 60s Gamera movies. You want to talk about stuff that was cheaply and poorly done, but at least it was practical. They didn't do a miniature for the wider shots of the bridge or anything, so it looks really bad.
Yeah, like there's more of a charm, I think, to the 60s one where you're like, oh, well, that's what they could afford. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas this feels like you could have been a little less lazy with this.
You could have got another financial backer.
Yeah.
All the while this is going on, we've got the Weasley government folks who are now second guessing their their decision to dismantle the defense force, and but it's the it. I know that we had like the Weasley government guys in the Guardian of the Universe series, and they actually played into the story and helped it kind of make some sense and gave like a B story to go into the movie. I don't feel that these Weasley government guys don't really do anything to advance the plot at all.
No, I mean they kind of show up later, and like two of them almost die, and then
that's it.
They kind of have their It's not much. It really could be entirely excised from the movie.
The only thing that these guys show up and serve purpose for is to show that the government, that someone was in charge of taking Gamera for quote unquote research.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just had the military show up and take him after the battle, because Gamera does manage to like blast a fireball into the face of Zetus and knock him into the water.
Which is my favorite part in the whole movie, because he rides up his fucking tongue.
Yeah.
And then blasts him in the face as soon as he gets up there. That part made me laugh so hard.
And after the fire to the face, and they're gonna take Gamera to Nagoya. And there was another weird thing while all this is going on. They're getting Mai prepped for surgery. So giant monster attacking the city. No need to evacuate the hospitals. Just prep her for surgery. Get the heart surgery done.
Right. I wrote that down too. I was like, isn't this happening like very close to where these two monsters just destroyed a good chunk of the city? And one of them killed multiple people. But yeah, no, when you look at the hospital, it's like this is a different place, like a totally different country.
And not only that, they get her up out of bed and walk her to surgery.
Yeah.
It's like that. No, normally they put you on a gurney, or they just wheel you out on the bed that you're in your room.
Well, the good thing, you got to get that heart pumping, right? You got to get it pumping really quick. Yeah, because that's what you want
before heart surgery.
Just before the surgery. You got to overwork it so that it's easier to take out. I don't know how it works.
I'm not a doctor. As I said, they're taking Gamera to Nagoya, and that's actually where Mai is supposed to be going to for her surgery, I guess, because they do mention that. But everybody lines up to see Gamera off, I guess, because they're lining the streets, they're hanging over like the overpasses and stuff to take pictures and things, and Toru is there to say bye to Gamera, and like Gamera kind of looks at him like with this "bye, kid," but it's like he's strapped to a a flatbed.
He is the most like goober face of any of the event, like more
he
so
is
than
not the best Gamera design, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could tell he's like son of Gamera, because
and that's just it too. Because I mean, if you look at Son of Godzilla,
same thing,
goofy looking, same looking design.
Yeah, just a dorky, like goofy looking Gamera face. But I was okay with it because, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is son of Gamera, so whatever. He's gonna look a little bit different.
Yeah. At this point, there's a weird bit of, I guess, radio exposition where they say they're going to reform the Unusual Organism Task Force. I'm like, that's not what it was called. In fact, you guys called Defense Force several times before you got to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no time for that. Gamera is off to university, and he's going to study in business and drink his face off. I'm just kidding. He's going to be experimented on genetically.
Well, thankfully he gets out of that.
Well, not before they managed to distill whatever it is that's causing him to grow, and they double down on it and inject him with more of it to make him grow even faster so he can fight Zetus, because they figured they didn't find the body, and if you didn't find the body, that monster could still be alive. We're going to need a full-grown Gamera to fight this thing.
Yeah.
Dad gives finally tells Toru his Gamera story. He was there in 73 when Gamera fought the Gauss and blew himself up. And he's trying to reiterate again to Toro that he's gonna kill himself to save everybody. That's what Gameras do.
But that's not what Gameras do.
It's not. That in the history of Gameras, the opening of this movie is the only time that happened.
I was going to say, yeah, every single time I've watched one of these movies for this podcast, he quite obviously survives the whole ordeal, and they celebrate and sometimes even sing.
Yes. Or they hire a lovely Japanese pop chanteuse to sing over the credits.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that he's like, well, this always happens with the monsters. I'm like, with Gameras. And I'm like, okay, movie, you've had one movie. Calm down.
And it was actually at this point where Toru's trying to convince him that's not the case. You've only seen one Gamera. So much so that he's just stopped short of being like, turtles change, bro. Turtles change.
Yeah.
Doesn't say
Hashtag
that,
not all turtles.
Right, exactly. Apparently Mai did well in her surgery. We get it. We find that information out while everyone's at a, I think it's not a shelter, but it's kind of like they're housing everybody in the area who may have, because it's not safe to go back to that portion of the city yet because they don't know how much damage has been done.
Yeah.
So Toro and his dad and his friends, they're all staying in like what looks like, I think it's like a gymnasium.
Yeah, it's some kind of like, it's like you said, it's some kind of shelter. But like when they tell Toru that, you know, Mai pulled through the surgery, it's like, I'm so used to this movie being so dour. I'm like, oh, what are they gonna do? Like 5 minutes later, have her fucking die of a heart attack? Like, but no, she's like, she's okay, but she keeps saying Toto needs it. Toto needs the red stone. We don't know what it means. And Toru's like, oh, I do. I'm a little kid.
So like, okay, so I'm trying to count some of the 80s stuff that we get in this. Not only is it raining, so the Toto can bless the rains down in Africa.
Right.
Mai does all this talking in her sleep, and the nurses hear the secrets that she keeps while she's talking in her sleep. If
Yes,
they had said she tells a story like Tokyo Rose, I'd have been like, all right, you got me. All right, right in the nostalgia. Doesn't.
I
say
know
that,
what you're
though.
doing, movie.
Yeah. Yes, but she knows that he needs that, you know, that red stone, the little cradle thing, because that's Toro gave it to her to help to make it have even more luck with her surgery. And it apparently worked because she did well. But now Toro's is like, I've got to go to Nagoya University to get this back because Gamera needs it now.
You know what that means? It's time for a kid venture.
Oh my god. And I appreciate that what they're doing here. I mean, they go on like a little quest like the Goonies. They're taking the train and everything like that. But the overwrought dialogue that they give these kids, the melodrama that's just dripping from every line is too much. I, as a dad, was like, oh my god, you stupid fucking kids. But in all fairness, if they had said, "Hey, Dad, we need to go to Nagoya University to get the stone so we can help Gamera," Dad would have been like, "Sit the fuck back down. Our house was just wrecked. We're not getting on a train going somewhere. There's still a monster out there."
You can play Stranger Things later,
right? So they're going to the hospital. Zetus is still alive because we see some of the shittiest CGI shadows swimming through the water, which was just awful.
Yeah.
It says something, like as you said earlier, when you hold this up to like Gamera versus Gauss, the original, or Gamera versus Guiron, and you're like, you know what? They did a better job with those.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's like a low budget in 2000, even if it's a low budget, which I'm sure it is, but a low budget in 2006 is still more than you would have had at your disposal with a low budget movie in 1967.
Right.
Like, there should be no reason for this. Like,
I think the problem though is that they felt that they could lean more heavily on the CG stuff to get things like this done, and it, unfortunately, because you do like the practical stuff they did with the guys in the suits fighting and, you know, breaking up, you know, landscape and things like that, looks pretty decent. When you stack it up to, oh my God, like, I hate to say it again, a Neil Breen-esque version of computer generation, it takes so much away from the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, you can tell, even like I said, just based on the two newer Gamera movies that came before this. I mean, Guardians of the Universe? Yeah.
Guardian of the Universe, yeah.
Oh, just over 10 years before this, and it looks much better. Like in like the special effects, there is a little bit of computer stuff, but it's mostly like a mix of that and like a lot of practical. Like that's where they needed to go. They need to have like a little bit of computer stuff, but they needed to lean on the practical a lot more.
A lot
like
more.
They did with the
especially
last two.
Because they were actually trying to use this movie as kind of to do like almost like a renaissance of kaiju movies, because they had been making other Godzilla movies at that time, you know, over in Japan, and they were doing fairly well. So, as was the case with the original Gamera, people were like, okay, we want a slice of this pie. Who owns the rights to Gamera? And then, boom, we go from there to get what we got here.
Yeah.
And it does. If I took this movie and stacked it up to, say, like Godzilla Final Wars or Tokyo SOS, like those movies blow this thing out of the water. So, and like that's the unfortunate thing, because there's a neat concept in this movie, but I think it's undone by, unfortunately, how cheap it looks.
It really does. It really looks like it's just a straight to video movie.
Yeah. So they're heading back to the university and the hospital. The scientists find out that Zetas is still alive, so they're trying to get Gamera to, you know, back up. He does, you know, gets back up, and he starts, you know, to fight. In fact, Zetas is going toe to toe with Toto.
Ah.
Yeah, right. I'm waiting to use that one. But the kids still know that we got to get to the hospital. We got to get the stone, because that's going to help make Toto stronger, make him a real Gamera. So they're trying to get there, and Mai they haven't evacuated the hospital. Meanwhile, another monster attack has happened.
No,
and she's got the thing. She's trying to get away, to give it to Gamera, to give it to somebody, to give it to Gamera. And this is probably one of the most ridiculous things that's coming up.
Yes.
Where
is it the hot potato?
Well, the kids, they just know. Because Dad catches up with Toro real quick. That's, you know, then they had their thing.
Yeah.
That's all fine. But really the meat of this last act is the kids trying to get the stone to Toto. And it's like every kid shares this like weird psychic connection that they just kind of see each other and know, oh, it's to help the turtle, it's to help Toto. Right. And it was at this point where I was like, you know what? It's really looking more like that, instead of a Gamera being a friend to all children, that all children are a friend to Gamera.
It looks
because
like
they do a lot of the legwork here.
It looks like Gamera has a cult.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like because like Mai gives it to someone and she just knows, like you said, every kid just knows, and it's almost like they're doing like a hot potato thing, or it's not. I shouldn't say hot potato, but it's almost like they're like, okay, I can only hold on to this for so long before it blows up, and they just pass to the next kid and they run for a bit,
right? Because there's always something in the way.
Yeah, like at one point a cop shows up, and I thought he was just gonna like tackle this kid, and he almost does, and the kid's like, here, take it, and then the other kid runs off, and then the cop is like yelling after that other kid, and I'm like, I don't understand. What do you want, the stone? Like,
do you think the kids stole it? Are they looting during this monster fight? Because there is a monster fight going on while all of this is happening.
Yeah, but
everybody's running in one direction, and all the kids are running in the opposite direction towards the fight.
It's so funny though. The music that they put on top of it too just is the icing on the cake. The scene is hilarious.
And like I said, the fight's all happening. It's going back and forth, but at this point, this is when Zetus really starts to get his heat back because he just kicks Gamera right in the chest, knocks him over, and doesn't he he throws him into like a building. No, he does a slingshot. He like legitimately like that stupid spot that does not make any sense except in wrestling.
That wrestling move defies physics.
Right?
Why would you? Yeah.
Anyhow.
Why? It's like okay. If anybody who doesn't watch wrestling, just think about this. You're on your back. The person grabs your legs like they're gonna I don't know, like they put your legs under their arms, like they're gonna turn you over for a Boston Crab. But instead of that, they just fall back with your legs under their arms, and you just naturally get all the way up and then jump into the turnbuckle because that forward momentum, that's what it does to you. What?
The only way that spot would ever make sense to me is that the person doing the move puts their feet under the guy and then flings, not only with pulling the person's leg, but also kicking them up off the mat as well. But again, it's still something that would require a ridiculous amount of cooperation.
And I've seen it done better than others sometimes. Like I have seen it done where they hook the leg enough so that it kind of looks like they're propelling them. And then I've seen it done terribly where it literally looks like someone is standing up, pausing, and then jumping into the turnbuckle.
We're getting to the end where the kids are trying to get the Rock to Gamera. And there's this one kid, I had to pause it where did the spotlight come from?
Was there a spotlight on one of the kids?
There was a kid who was running and everything else was darkened around him and it was like he was running in a spotlight.
That's to show you who has the stone.
Right. You couldn't see it. The large glowing rock in the kid's hand.
They got to make sure. Also, I love the fact that Gamera was launched to a building and he's just half sticking out of it with his legs flailing. That was a pretty funny visual.
So, but they finally they've got the Rock, baby, and this weird music cue. I thought a Tom Cochrane song was about to start because it had this weird acoustic mid 90s pop rock sound to it, but that's not what happens, unfortunately. That would have been great. The kid Toro climbs the stairs so he can get the stone to Gamera and make him stronger, and then also have this heartfelt back and forth, a Toro and Toto tete-a-tete, if you will. Toro and Toto talk tete-a-tete about the importance of being true to yourself, even if you are a Gamera.
He tells him, he says, if I give you this, don't blow yourself up.
And he's like, sure, kid. And the jets are on. This is the first time we've seen him hover and float, but this is the first time we see the full-on swirly jets of Gamera because he takes it and he gets knocked out of the building and he falls and you think he's going to fall to the ground, and just before he's about to hit the ground, the jets come on and he rises to the occasion, pardon the pun. Yep. So there's now this is Gamera's getting his shine.
Oh yeah, and I gotta mention the line was "Don't kill yourself. I order you not to," and it reminded me of Terminator 2. I order you not to go.
Right, and also said by a cracked voiced shit kid. During this fight, poor Gamera takes a tongue to the shoulder, a terrible CG tongue at first, but then they have a practical one.
Yeah.
Because he has to rip it out of Zetus's mouth, which was probably one of the most inspired scenes in this entire movie. He just yanks it, tears it, it tears apart like a piece of shitty rubber, just rending. Oh, it was delightful.
It was second for me, second to when he rides his tongue, but yeah, pretty cool.
Okay. And so Gamera then summons all of his power, well, almost all his power, because he doesn't go full-on nuclear explosion like at the first movie, but he uses his power and he hits Zetus, and apparently Zetus was made of nitroglycerin.
Yeah, he
because
blows the
you
Kingdom
figure in a
Come.
situation like that, it's going to hit him, and then his body will be engulfed in the flame, and he'll be absorbed, and he'll die, ashes, or a flaming body falls to the ground. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
He explodes with the force of like 3 or 4 C4 bombs.
I really wanted to see, by the way, like a la the original Ghostbusters movie with like pieces of him falling all over people. And just have the like do 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 boom 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 boom.
And so, but this is all taking a toll on Gamera. Like, cause he's a baby Gamera. He's son of Gamera. This is exhausted him. He falls over.
Big day for the little guy.
Right? He didn't even have a juice box.
No.
So the kids, the army first starts coming in to, because they're going to take Gamera again. They're going to load him up on the flatbeds and take him back for more experiments and things like that. And then the kids all start, hands across America-ing the in front of him, saying you can't take him, leave Gamera alone and stuff like that.
And again, with this movie, with the darkness in this movie, I'm like, all right, they're just going to open fire on all these kids.
just gonna mow down these kids Tenement Square style.
Yeah. God damn.
And they I actually have a note, open fire, but they don't. And Toro even has to turn around to tell Gamera, go on, you can go now, you can leave, you're okay, I know you're a Gamera. And he's saying this to a green screen. Like, it's the outline on the kid as he's doing this is so obvious. It's they don't even try to blend the edges. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we get an Irish tune to close out as Gamera's getting ready to leave, and everybody's saying goodbye. And I was like, oh, it's like it's an Irish Gamera tune. And then they kept playing, and I was like, oh, sung by Japanese Melissa Etheridge. Because that's what it sounded like. And that's it. That's Toro. He saved Japan and defeated Zetus, and he's off to hibernate, I guess, and become a Gamera whenever we need him again. But we haven't needed him in almost 25 years. Or almost 20 years, rather.
Yep. And one of my favorite visuals of the movie at the end here is Mai just in her stretcher on the roof with the IV.
Because that's, hospitals do that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just bring it right on the roof. Also love how over the credits there's just footage of like a baby Toto, but really when you get down to it, it's just footage of a turtle walking around for a while.
Yeah. So that's it. Okay. That's Gamera the Brave.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say, Brendan? Is this worth a watch? Is it a drunk watch with friends? Are you going to attempt head trauma to forget it, or avoid it like the plague?
Well, looking back at the newer ones, I remembered that I didn't like Attack of Legion all that much, and I did like Guardian of the Universe quite a bit. This one is like I don't want to. I can't. It's just. I'm just gonna say drunk watch with friends because it's definitely entertaining, but there's like we both mentioned, there's some stuff in here that maybe doesn't look super great, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. But have some drinks, check it out. What about you?
I'd say about the same. I had flirted with the idea of not avoiding like the plague, head trauma, but I mean. The fights are solid until you get the far away shots, like the long shots of the fighter. They look cheap, but the up close stuff looks really good. The return to form with Gamera being more kid centric was kind of a nice touch. Some of the dialogue that the kids have and the melodrama is a little over the top, but can be forgiven because I have kids now and realize that, that is how they talk. Because they have no fucking idea.
Whether we like it or not.
Right. So yeah, I'm going to say a drunk watch with friends. For sure. So there we go, and I'm not going to crumple up my notes, as this is a Gamera movie and deserves my respect.
Okay.
Put that over there.
And all of them will deserve your respect. Every single one of them.
Don't. We gotta pay some bills. So if you guys want to stick around though, check them out because they are helping us keep things running here. But we won't be too long. We'll be actually right back.
What were they thinking?
NPR bot, please initiate NPR mode.
Roar.
Okay, I can work with that. That's it. It's a movie reference, but there was no swearing. So.
Bitch.
Oh my god, I didn't even say that in the movie.
Look, I'm sorry. NPR bot has a mind of its own. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
It's sentient? Oh no. Anyhow, we let that existential crisis settle in on us. It's time now for the low haiku. And Brendan, in case this is someone's first episode, what would you tell them that the low haiku is?
Well, the low haiku. Let me take this. Oh
No,
God.
no. Oh no. Wait, what's going on?
The low haiku is 17 perfect syllables to describe the movie you guys just talked about, bitch.
Why is he not affected by the NPR protocol?
I guess he's the overseer. I don't really know. I'm holding him at bay, so we just I got my haiku ready to go. Let's just.
Okay. Well, if you would like to lead us off,
okay,
please do.
It's not Gamera. Toto is super different. Gamera's dead. Duh.
Okay. Like the movie, super bleak and depressing. Very, very good.
Thank you. Your turn. We know the format.
We do. We don't need the moderator. Thank you. Son of Gamera. Children are his protector. CGI cheapness. Thank you. And as I shudder to say this, but MBR bot, please execute exit protocol.
Nope.
But you have to. We can't do the reviews like this.
You have to get us out of here. You can't just leave us in here. You're mean to me.
You're the one who swears at us.
Milos, do you mind? I don't know what you got to do, but
I will try old trick that works on most machines in old country.
Okay. Thank you.
Just give me 1 moment. Are you ready?
Yes. Beep.
That got it.
Oh, thank you, Milos. Appreciate it. Oof.
That was. Oof.
Oh.
Can you look at him? Guy, come on, man. We can't have that happen again. Could you do an overhaul on his on his operating system or something?
It's getting bad. It's getting real bad.
Real bad.
He had us trapped. Imagine if we couldn't get out of there. It'd be like stuck in the I'm trying to say is it the quantum verse?
Is that? Oh, are you talking about the Ant-Man?
Yeah. What is it called? The quantum.
I think it's quantum. The quantum verse.
Yeah. Well, we're out of there now, Nathan. What do we do now?
We're no longer in NPR mode. Thank goodness, and thank you, Milos, for taking care of that for us. Well, I know we've kind of talked about it, and I'm a tad biased as I am a bit of a Gamera fan, as they say. So I certainly wouldn't want you to think that I am the be all and end all authority of this, and Brendan, so much so that I would like to impart a bit of wisdom to our listeners that we normally do. And what is that bit of wisdom that we normally impart to our listeners?
Don't take a word for it.
Well, that bit of wisdom is a little thing we like to say, and we like to say...
That's right. Don't Don't take our word for it. Although, as regards to the critics, though, you might. But I think I think they're all right. I mean, with the critics, I mean, sure, it released overseas. Never saw a real North American release until the Blu-ray, for the most part. But I mean, there had to be some people who were digging around to critique this thing, right, Brendan?
Yeah, there were 3 of them. There's no official rating from Rotten Tomatoes because I think you need a certain amount of critics to have an overall consensus. But I mean, those 3 critics did like it, so I mean, it's technically 100%. But
100%.
Officially,
Gamera the Brave.
Officially, it's 2 dashes. The audience,
But I mean,
yeah,
audience, right? Kaiju fans, they had to turn out in mass for this thing, yeah?
Well, it's positive, but not overwhelmingly so, I guess. I mean, 68% of them liked it. Only about 500 plus ratings, though. So.
Okay.
But I will tell you that if you did like this movie, you might like these movies, of which I don't think I've heard of or seen any. The Crybaby Killer. Okay. Battle in Outer Space. Very generic title.
I think I've heard that one before.
Mysterious Intruder, starring, of course, the famous Richard Dix, a.k.a. Dick Dix. The Devil Makes 3, which is apparently a Gene Kelly movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Secret of the Blue Room. I don't... the sci-fi movie, sure, but... Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get. I don't get Rotten Tomatoes system at all.
This is a monster movie from 2006, and there's only one that would kind of have monsters in it, and that's Battle in Outer Space.
Yeah, unless the Crybaby Killer fights monsters.
And the Mysterious Intruder is a giant lizard beast.
And the Devil Makes 3. If the devil's kind of a monster, and maybe Secret of the Blue Room is that the secret is that it has a bunch of monsters. There, we did it.
But they're all like super old movies.
Yeah. It must think this is like an old Gamera movie, but then, so it's just like, oh, you just want old movies? But listen, I think we've established that the Rotten Tomatoes, what's the word I'm looking for? Don Cheadle played him.
Don Cheadle
in Space Jam.
Oh, the algorithm.
Yeah. I think we've established that the Rotten Tomatoes algorithm is not super great.
No. But let's pop these critics, and then we'll get to the audience because there's only 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Brian Orndorff of Blu-ray.com says,
son.
doesn't satisfy any cravings for Tokyo flattening mayhem, but its gentle ways are appealing in small doses, turning a saga about a rampaging reptile into a picture kids will undoubtedly love and parents should be able to tolerate. B-.
Okay. Well, Steve Biodrowski from Cinefantastique writes, a pretty decent kids movie. The film is mostly entertaining, a good effort for parents to watch with their children.
Okay. Why don't you take the last one too there, Nathan?
All right. Well, that's from Tim Brayton of Agony and Ecstasy. He gave it a 6 out of 10, so it's just barely positive, but still 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Given that there's virtually no clear reason for it to zig. Given that there's virtually no reason for it to exist, it's actually pretty decent.
All right. There you go.
Rave reviews.
All right. Well, let's get into the audience now. Let's see what this 68% is all about. This first review is very positive, but I'm not sure what they're trying to say. Which seems to be pretty much a reoccurring theme of these reviews. Finn D, unfortunately not Finn B, gives
Finn Daller.
Finn Daller, yeah, is not as successful cousin. Gives it 4.5 out of stars. Good movie, Wrath the Money. No idea.
I'm guessing Finn's fingers messed up or his autocorrect screwed him.
Was that the tag team with Brian Clark and Ted DiBiase?
Okay, so my first one comes from Movie Fan 22 and he writes, I don't know why these Gamera movies are getting made or getting so good. I pretty much enjoy the characters, and I'm glad the kids are not annoying in the film. The special effects is pretty damn impressive for a kaiju movie about a guy in a suit, better than the Millennium and the Heisei Godzilla movies. That is patently false.
I got another really positive one here from Gabriel V. Very simple, 5 out of stars. The cutest monster movie I've ever seen.
Okay. Well, my next one comes from Dean W., and I can only assume it's star of stage and screen Dean Winters.
Oh.
And he writes, a great Gamera movie. Child-oriented, but not childish. Good efforts, and shows a Gamera from hatchling to adulthood. Typical pet you cannot keep because it grows too big. And it's not really a pet at all storyline, which is great for kids as serves as a good backdrop to the usual monster fare. If you like this stuff, you won't be disappointed. If you don't, you had no interest anyways. 4.5 out of stars.
What? Okay.
Guess he
He
is chaos after all.
I'd like to think that I hope that like Dean Winters is a pretty cool guy, because I think if I ever became friends with him, it would take me years to build up trust just after seeing him on screen play a fucking sleazy asshole for so long.
He does. He often gets those roles, doesn't he?
Yeah. But a lot of times when that happens, it means they're really cool in real life. So it's like the best, the nicest people in wrestling are usually heels. Okay, let's see here. This one's from Jess O. Gives it 4 stars. I have seen some pretty cheesy monster movies, but this one was actually really good and I enjoyed it. It wasn't as cheesy as the Godzilla movies, and I would be interested in seeing the other ones.
Have a much better time with the other ones, probably. My next one comes from Will S. I can only assume that's Will Smith.
Uh-oh.
And he
I'm
writes,
getting out of here.
Well, as long as you keep his wife's name out of your fucking mouth, you're okay.
That's true. Yeah, okay.
He writes, as rubber monster movies go, not bad, but it feels more like something for kids. It's rather pale compared to the past Gamera films, and unlike the recent Godzilla releases, the special effects and rubber suits haven't seen any upgrades. 2.5 out of stars.
Here's my last one. It's from Matt O. And he gives it, I don't know, another 4-star rating. Okay, now listen closely because this one's pretty crazy. Matt O says, ha 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 ha.
That certainly took a turn. All right. Well, you know what? Just as the movie opened on a super down note, I am going to end on kind of a down vote. See what I did there?
Oh no, did Gamera die in real life? Are you both telling me?
My last rating comes from Ray T, and I can only assume that's the late Big Boss Man, Ray Trailer.
Oh.
And he writes, boring and very disappointing considering how good the last 3 were. Slow, crappy story. I can't imagine that kids, the target audience, could stay awake for this. 1.5 out of stars.
Oh, harsh critic from a ghost.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. We've had our say. The critics and audience have had their say. So, as we put Gamera the Brave in our rear view, we tune the dial to the dance craze sensation that is sweeping the nation. It's time for the What You Watching, Bud?
What you watching, bud? I don't know what you're watching, bud. I'll tell you so. Do.
So, Brendan, what you watching, bud?
So my recommendation is a movie from the 80s called The Hidden. This is a movie, it's sort of like I felt it kind of was like a sort of Body Snatchers / Terminator hybrid. So basically there's some entity that comes down to Earth and is like body jumping. And basically when it gets into someone's body, it's like the personification of an id. Like, it's like, I want that car. How do I get that car? I need those keys for this car. You're on my way. I have to kill you. Like, it's very much like it's goal oriented, and just like whatever's in its way, it kills, and whatever it wants to get, it just gets no matter what. Like, and eventually, like, whatever body it's in gets sick or dies, and then it has to like switch over to someone that's closest. And it's really fun. Has Kyle MacLachlan in it, and you've never seen this?
I can't say that I have.
Oh, you should check it out. I think it's right up your alley. So,
Okay.
The Hidden, check it out. What about you, Nathan? What you watching, bud?
Well, I actually a little while ago took in a I guess cult classic that I had never kind of pulled the trigger on seeing when I was younger, but it is called Phantom of the Mall: Eric's Revenge.
Oh,
And it's a 80s take on like a Phantom of the Opera type situation. Way less singing, but you know what, I wouldn't have been mad at it, as we heard in our previous episode of Phantom of the Opera. But still, a lot of fun stuff going on. They like I said, they modernize it, well, quote unquote modernize it for the 80s. There's some cool kills in it. It's not a super serious take on it, but it's tongue in cheek with enough seriousness in it for you to like legitimately enjoy it. So, and there's a reason why it's a cult classic. I mean, you're not, don't go in, expecting, a Guillermo del Toro horror movie or something.
it's funny because like whenever I've heard the title so many times, and every time I just think it's a sequel because it sounds like a sequel.
And it's even got Eric's Revenge because Eric is the name of the Phantom in the books, right?
Like it sounds like that's the one they made after like Eric died in the first one.
It sounds like it should be the sequel to that Robert Englund Phantom of the Opera.
Right. At first I thought you were going to say Phantom of the Paradise.
No, I actually haven't seen that yet.
That's pretty great.
I've heard it's pretty fantastic.
It's a musical, but it's wild. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, well there you go.
Yeah, that's what we're watching.
Watch those now. Report back next week.
Oh, that's on Shudder too, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
And The Hidden is inexplicably on the Criterion Channel. But also, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just there from like a horror month thing or something. But I don't think it's actually a Criterion release. But yeah, I just thought that was odd. That's where I found it. So on that note, Nathan, is your old pal Montrose around?
He is, and he just got a new handle for YouTube. So, because that's a thing now apparently. But he's here to tell you all about it.
Okay.
Hello, it's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here, and I would like to invite all of you to check out my YouTube channel, Montrose Monkington TV, and now you can do that so quickly by typing in youtube.com/@Montrose III, that's the number 3RD. You can also be friends with me on Facebook at the Facebook group Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. And you can also tweet at me on your Twitter device at that familiar handle at Montrose III. That's the number 3RD. Thank you. Or later. Yeah.
Thank you, Montrose.
You're welcome.
You can also find us on all the podcast apps. You can just search for us anywhere. Of course, our home base is Age of Radio.
Big time.
So you can go to ageofradio.org/whatwerethéthinking and find us there. You can also check us out on Facebook. Just search What Were They Thinking. We are there. On Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. And you can check us out on TeePublic, Redbubble, patreon.com/WWTT Podcast. Become a patron, and you would have had an extra episode last month. So, yeah. Critters 2, BT dubs. But that's pretty much it. I think that's all I really have.
Why isn't the Critters movies on the Criterion Collection?
You know, they should do it just for the pun.
Right?
But yeah, that's it. So I guess I just have questions about Gamera the Brave.
Well, you know what? I'm probably the most learned here at the What Were They Thinking Studios on the subject of Gamera. So you fire away.
Okay. Well, in a movie, in which understandably it's a Gamera movie, but you also have these horribly rendered visual effects at times.
Yes, unfortunately.
In a movie in which we spend an awful lot of time with some shit kids for a while. In a movie in which, now this is a positive thing, but Gamera rides a tongue and burns a dude in the face.
Okay. Yes. Pretty awesome.
And also rips it out.
Right.
And in a movie with so many downbeat moments in a silly monster movie.
For kids.
Rated G or PG if it was rated in America. I guess I just have to ask.
Go ahead.
What were they thinking?
Kamera,